Hi everyone. After the Christmas market vlogs, I thought I'd make one of the biggest classics, which is tomato meatballs. This is one of my daughter's favorites, right next to spaghetti bolognese, and they always eat it with the greatest joy. It's very simple, very easy to make, and absolutely delicious. I'll also mention where you can do things differently because I think everyone makes this in their own way. Now, I won't list the ingredients right now because you'll see them at the end of the video. As with all my cooking videos, the recipe will be there in both English and Hungarian at the end, and I usually link the recipe below the video as well. This time I used two pieces or two packs of half-kilo meat, but it doesn't matter if you buy a 600-gram pack, which is 1.2 kilograms in total, or a 450-gram one, it really doesn't matter. It's not a problem if you use a little more or a little less meat. Honestly, it makes no difference for the recipe. It won't affect the taste. I made a little nest for the two eggs and put both the whites and the yolks in there. Now I'll start seasoning. Salt, pepper, and paprika will go in according to your taste. If you like things saltier than we do, just add more salt. If you like it spicier, then add more pepper, just the way you like it. All right, that's what I'm doing now too. After the salt and pepper, we'll add some caraway seeds. I'm going to put in ground caraway. Now it's time for the paprika. You don't need much since we're not making meatballs. I put in 2 teaspoons just for the flavor and so the meat won't look so pale when we cook it, but honestly, it's going into the tomato sauce anyway. So now let me show you how we do this. What you see here is 10 tablespoons of rice. I added it dry. Some people like to pre-cook the rice and then add it to the meat, but that gives it a completely different texture and taste. We always add it dry and raw and we'll cook the meat anyway. Now I chopped the garlic for it with my favorite little machine. And now all that's left is to mix it all together. So as you can see, salt, pepper, caraway seeds, paprika, and the rice added dry. Rice is one of those things that if you use a bit more meat, you don't add 10 tablespoons, but 12. You'll be able to see in the meat whether it can handle more rice or not. You don't need an incredible amount of rice, but it's what will hold everything together. Then you roll little balls, though mine didn't turn out that small. This is also a matter of taste. All right, let's make the tomato sauce or tomato topping for it. I heated up a little oil and finely chopped an onion. As you can see with my usual machine, it's chopped really fine. It's good if there aren't any big chunks in this sauce, but if there are, I think it's worth blending the sauce at the end. I saute it just a little bit. You don't need to brown it, and then I add the flour. By the way, it's 3 tablespoons of flour, and we start mixing it in. My mom swears by this gadget. Right now, she's actually the one stirring it because she thinks this is the best way to get it lump free. I definitely would have used a regular whisk for this, but actually, she's right. It really works well. And a very important tip. In the meantime, put a big pot of water on to boil, okay? You'll need this for the dumplings so you can keep things moving. So now we've reached the part where we pour the tomato juice into the pot. I used 2 bottles of tomato juice, but honestly, you can easily add 3 if you want. This depends on how much sauce you want with the dish, or how many people will be eating it, or how many days you'll be eating this meal. Here you need to thoroughly mix the tomato sauce with the onion and flour base inside. And if you cut the onions a bit larger, I think it might be worth blending it a bit with an immersion blender at this point. And I don't like it when a lot of tomato is left in the jar, so I filled the jar with water up to about a quarter, shook it up, and then poured it back into the pot so you don't have to add extra water later on. By the way, if you want to thin it out more because your tomato juice is thicker, you can of course do that with water. So now we're going to start seasoning it. Add the salt and you need to put powdered sugar in it. It's also fine if you use granulated sugar, but tomatoes really love salt and sugar. It's also worth adding some pepper to taste to give it a slightly spicier flavor. And here you can see the powdered sugar that I put into this dish. Really, tomato and sugar, tomato and salt are very good friends. I put in 1 spoonful, but you should taste yours. And if you think it needs more, then add more. So here's my water, which has started to boil. And here's a tip. Unfortunately, I didn't have any at home this time. If you put a celery root into this water, by the way, this is salted water, it will turn out much, much tastier. But I thought I had celery at home, but I didn't have any. So as you can see, I'm dropping these meatballs into the boiling water one after another, and this is what it looks like when it's cooked. The rice cooks inside and the meat cooks inside as well. That's why I don't usually put them in already cooked because I really think the taste and texture of the meat is a bit different if you cook it afterwards. If you put them into celery flavored salted water, the meat will taste even better. Well, sorry, I just didn't have any this time. You have to put it back carefully. not as clumsily as I am doing it. It's just that I have the camera in one hand right now, and with the other, I'm trying to put these heavy balls back into the tomato sauce, which I actually took off the heat just now because, as you can see, it started boiling and I didn't want this hot tomato liquid to splatter in my face. So I carefully put all the balls back in one by one. I let it all cook together for about 4 or 5 more minutes. If needed, add salt, pepper, and sugar to taste. It's really hard to say exactly how much. Just taste it and you'll see what suits your own taste best. This is what it looks like. It's really, really delicious. And what we didn't do this time is that it's usually served with boiled potatoes, but now we just ate it on its own. It's really tasty if you eat it with plain boiled potatoes. All right, I'll quickly upload the recipe for you as well. Here it is. All you have to do is subscribe. A lot of you have subscribed. Thank you so, so much. I'm still really happy that so many of you enjoy these videos, and I'll see you in the next one, which will be a very exciting topic. Bye.